Today we're going to be talking about the things that I've learned in the past year of being a high school band director. Roll the intro. Woo! Welcome again, everyone. Just like I said, we're going to be talking about things that I've learned in the past year. This is my second year as a high school band director, the first time not being an assistant but being the head guy. So if you haven't watched my first video, you should probably go back and watch that to see some things that I kind of realized within that first. It was the first 6 months, and now I'm in the middle of the second year, but I digress. Here's the things that I've learned, year 2, part 2, whatever this is going to be called. So let's get right into it. So dear future band directors, you're going to go out there after you graduate college, or maybe you're in the process, you've already graduated, whatever the case is. Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So while you might have these awesome dreams, and it's great to have a plan, we'll get into that later, just be okay with and content with where you are at the moment. Still strive for the best and don't let things slip by, but always acknowledge your students for where they are and keep pushing them to where you want them to be, and reward excellence for where they are in the realm that they're in. Again, you have these grand visions, which is awesome. That's what you should have. But again, Rome wasn't built in a day. So take it one day at a time, get the fundamentals down, and just keep pushing. It's not going to be a quick and easy process to build a band program that you want. Speaking of fundamentals, fundamentals, I cannot stress this enough. There are so many band directors that I hear of, see of, don't push fundamentals enough. And for me, that's tone quality, number one, along with, articulation, breathing exercises, all sorts of different things that set the foundation of doing the skill away from music so that they can harness that toolbox and use it, and reading music becomes so much easier. I spend a ridiculous amount of time on fundamentals. Without that, you can't push a band program forward. When people tell me that they can't work on fundamentals, it's like saying that you don't have time to make your band sound good. It blows my mind. The best thing I can tell you to do is just work on fundamentals. The kids might roll their eyes, they might not be into it. I mean, it was we didn't pull out a piece of music until October, maybe late September, in my first semester band class. Fundamentals, chorales to articulate those fundamentals, style, articulation. We use an articulation glossary that goes through all the it's recognizing the weak points that your students have and they're playing as a whole group, and then trying to pinpoint those in a warm-up fashion that you do every day. I believe that warm-ups and fundamentals are one and the same. Not only are you getting your face warm, your fingers warm, your wrists warm, but that all of it is continuing to work on the skills that you need to use throughout the day, the year, forever and always. So I will always be an advocate of fundamentals, because without fundamentals you won't sound good, and it's pointless to waste your time on just trying to read music right off of the bat without, fundamentals work. Like a ton of I can't stress this enough. Moving on. Just like I mentioned in my first video, keep listening. Your ears are going to get, it's amazing how much better your ears will get from year 1 to year 2. Like, I'm hearing things that I didn't used to hear, and I mean, I can only imagine how much better it's going to get over my career. But keep listening, keep recording your bands and listening back and finding the little things that you can fix. Maybe after you've kind of just played through and it's like, oh, I know something's wrong, I just don't know what it is. Keep listening to those recordings, because oftentimes us waving our hands distracts us from hearing the thing that's wrong, because sometimes our brain plugs in what we should be hearing and we're only concerned about the big picture and not the little things. So really get in there, record your band over and over and over again, and just make that happen. The big thing is, don't settle during this time. While you should congratulate your students on the continual progress, don't settle as a band director. Don't be like, oh, that's good enough. Keep pushing and see how much. Kids are way more capable than you give them credit for sometimes, so keep pushing. This next one's more of an administrative thing. Delegate. I'm in a situation right now where I left my assistant band director job and am now a head band director, and this is my second year teaching. There's a lot of stuff thrown at you. A lot. And if you do not master the art of delegation, you will die. You will die. Just plain and simple. So make sure, I mean, I'm still struggling with it. You need to explain to people how to do the task, maybe show them once, and then send them off. Use your leadership, use parent volunteers, and if they don't do it the way you like, calmly pull them aside, tell them how you want it done, and try again. Because if you try to do everything, you will not be a successful band director. This one's also on the administrative side. Like, I love teaching, I love my students, and they know that in a professional student-teacher way. Like, I would go out of my way to advocate for them regardless of the situation. Whenever something happens that I don't agree with that had maybe been done to them, or if a kid comes to me and they're crying, like, what's up? Like, I want to be there for my students. You also need to learn where that line in the sand is, especially if you're really young. It's usually people coming out of college. It's important to know where you set that boundary. And if by some chance you make the mistake and they're starting to get a little too friendly, you need to back up and just have that conversation. Be honest with the kids. That's a huge one too, is being straightforward, honest, not putting up any boundaries. That was in the first video. But also, like, putting up professional lines in the sand so that you're there for them, but you're not their peer, their buddy, right? There should be a difference. So I know it's hard when you're younger, and like I feel that too, but you have to find that fine line of being that mentor for them and laying down what it is, and they're going to respect you for that. That's just the way it is. So be the mentor, get into that role. You don't have to be concerned about everything in their life as much as you want to be there for them. When they really need you, they will come to you. There's a whole video about this whole thing about how students need these mentors and these teachers in their lives, and that's a whole separate video coming eventually, but I digress. Moving on. Be your own advocate. This phrase is something I heard in college. I didn't really think about it just because of where I grew up and the band culture and where I was at previously, but now if you're trying to build something that doesn't yet exist, you have the vision for it, the kids can see the vision of it, and it may not happen for years down the road, but you have to set up that culture and educate not only the students, but also the parents and the community about what it is that, and the school, about what it is that you're wanting and how you get people to think the way you're thinking about the band program. And that doesn't happen, again, Rome wasn't built in a day, it doesn't happen overnight, but it's something to strive for. So advocate for yourself. If somebody says something that's clearly untrue and just stereotypical about a mediocre band program or something blah 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 insulted the band, you need to let people know that, hey, this is what we do, this is how we do it. We actually need this to function well. Ask administration kindly if we can have this and this, and I mean, what's the worst they can do is say no, right? So don't be greedy, but if you really need something, please advocate for yourself. Advocate for your band program like it is the most important thing for you, because it is what you have chosen to do with your life. And this job, as we all know, is not something easy. It takes up a large chunk of our lives. So it's for the students. Advocate for yourself. You might be the only high school band director in your county. You might be in a county that has like 14,000 high school band directors. It's easier to advocate, say blah 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 has this program, blah 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 has this program, this has this. But when you're on your own or there's not that many, it's important that you advocate and remember that, like, you've been in the trenches, you've done the thing, you got the degree. Explain your reasoning. It's always about keeping the kids safe, doing what's best for the kids, and I highly doubt, unless it's really outlandish, that someone's going to be like, no, you can't have that trash bag for your room or something. That's just a terrible example, but it's okay to ask for things. Advocate for yourself. That leads me to my next point. Don't be afraid to ask for things. I think we just covered that, but if there's something that you need, like you've got a hole in one of your ceiling tiles that you want replaced, ask to have that fixed. If there's, if a light fixture has fallen or the railing somewhere has been knocked out, or you notice that this particular door doesn't always lock, or the walls are oozing green slime.
The walls will ooze green slime! Oh, wait, they always do that.
That's a SpongeBob reference in case you didn't know. Talk to somebody and see what you can get done in a kind, way. Don't demand anything. The world doesn't owe you anything, but also, like I just mentioned, advocate for yourself. If you don't ask, no one's going to do anything. So go ahead, be kind, ask. Worst they can say is no. This is something that's really important. You will not be their previous band director. Whatever school you go to, you're not going to be them. You don't have the same name, you don't have the same background, you don't look the same. You're not going to be the same person. Things will change. You don't need to be a jerk about it, but things are going to have to change because you don't run rehearsals the same way probably. You're not the same person. So you need to let them know that up front. But at the same time, you need to let them know that what they've done in high school up to this point, your seniors, your juniors, your sophomores, but especially your upperclassmen, that it matters. Like, what traditions does the band have? What traditions does the school have? Do they have a bring your tractor to school day? Just all things that you need to know their traditions while also starting to make some of your own. And if it's silly little things that don't really have an impact on excellence and how they do the thing, you need to know that what they've done up to this point is valued. You just can't throw that to the side. It would be like somebody pressing reset on a video game after you've, I don't know, poured like 200 hours into it. It doesn't make any sense. You need to pick it up as a new player in the game and push on and continue on that path and maybe make some different choices than the player previously, but it's essentially the same game. So respect them, the students, and all that they've done, and the parents and the whole organization, but also let them know that you're not the same and it's time to press on into this new realm and still keeping that honor for what has come before and using that to build into the future, which is super exciting. And all that being said, you can't come in with that speech if you don't have a vision, a plan for the future. You can't come in and just go, I think we're going to work on this today. It just can't be what you do. You need a plan not only for the short term, but also for like a longer sort of goal. Like, what are you going to be doing next year at this time? What are you going to be doing 4 years from now? What are you going to be doing in 8 years from now? Having a sort of not a super specific idea, but having goals and having a vague idea of, man, it'd be great if we didn't have to worry about this anymore because this is so much better. We can now think about the next level of this. Have a plan, have a vision, share it with the children, get them excited, and press on to that new horizon while, again, focusing on a billion fundamentals. I seriously can't stress that enough. Now, I can't remember the next one. Oh, that's right, because I didn't write it. You need to write everything down. You see, that was a joke. You see what I did there? Write everything down, whether it be digitally, like I'm running this whole video off of notes I have over here, so I don't ramble on forever, or if it's via a legal pad that you have sitting by your desk. You need to write everything down. Otherwise, you're going to forget it because you're going to be doing so many things. A lot of it is logistical things. And the fun part is when you do get to go into the classroom and you do get to teach the thing and the kids get to sound amazing and they're like, wow, we really have grown, Mr. Ankeny. And that's what it's all about. And being able to get them to do those things, whether it be doing field trip forms, doing the budget, making sure this happens, the instructors are this, blah, blah, blah. You have to write things down in order to remember them. I tell kids, they'll walk up to me, hey, can you do this tomorrow? And I'll be like, sure, can you send me an email about it so I'll remember to do it? It's not a joke. You're going to forget, just like when you were in high school and you told your band director something and then he didn't do anything for like 3 weeks and you wondered why. It's not because he's a jerk. It's because we literally have a billion things going on, and if you don't write it down, it's not going to get done. And sometimes we write it down and it still doesn't get done for a while because it's not at the top of the priority list. There's only 90 minutes to plan most days. So a lot of that has to happen at home, or, well, you get the idea. There's not enough hours in the day to plan as much as we need to plan. So write things down. Do yourself a favor. Just start doing that and then crossing it off the list. You'll feel better because it's a never-ending to-do list if you strike through things, and you'll feel like you're getting things accomplished versus kind of guessing and hoping that you remember everything, because that's a nightmare. In relation to all the billion things you have to do, just remember to breathe. Everybody in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good people will help you if you ask them, whether that be parents, other teachers, mentors, they'll help you if you ask 9 times out of 10. So don't be afraid to ask for help, and keep breathing, because we all need help. We can't do this job alone. Just make sure you ask the right people. And to that degree, be a likable person that's easy to work with. I'm not saying like give up on all of your things and just be like a pushover. Be like, yeah, that sounds good. Let's not play any notes today. Let's play poorly. No, people generally like to work where they're respected and they feel like what they do matters. So don't be a jerk. There are so many people that in this world that are hard to work with, and I'm sure you've encountered a few, whether that be in band directing or wherever you've worked, or been on a group project or whatever it is. Be somebody that's fun to be around, but is still a leader and likes to get things done. And there's some days you just have to put your foot down and go, this is the way it is. I don't like this way. I'm sorry, but I still respect what you bring to the table. And let's keep going. So be likable. You don't have to be everybody's friend, but be likable and somebody that's fun and easy to work with. It is a collaborative process. We are better together. And to that degree, not everybody's going to like every decision you make. And it's something that it took me a while to kind of, grasp. I was always one of those people that I didn't always have the final say-so until now. Not everyone's going to like every decision you make. And that's something you have to keep in mind. There are going to be times that people don't like you because of a certain decision you made, and you just got to let that happen and be like, I'm sorry, but this is the way it is. At the end of the day, while you do need to listen to your students and your staff and everybody and parents, there's a certain degree where if you don't make the decision, it's never going to be perfect for everybody. So make the decision, figure out what works, what doesn't work, make the mistake, and then try to improve it as you go forward. Don't be afraid of making decisions. I think that was also in the last video, but this kind of, springboards off of that. So not everyone's going to like every decision you make, and that's okay. Remember to breathe. In the realm of what we do in the classroom, we often forget, because we're so busy, we need to professionally develop. And by that I mean go, if you can, to your state conference. For us in Virginia, hello Cardinal, it's VMEA, and I say that like a hypocrite. I didn't get to go this past year, but mark my word, I'll be trying to go in the future. What I did get to do, there's a vlog about it, you should check that out. Little eye is going to be up in one of these corners. I don't know how this works. Probably that one. I'm probably going to get, I don't know. Just click where you see it. Me and a few of my staff members went up to Grand Nationals this year to not only watch our alma mater, but watch a ton of really great bands. I got to count it as professional development. And we learned a ton. We have this huge list of things that we are thinking about going forward. So do not be afraid to professionally develop. We need time off to go learn things. Always be learning as a teacher. Never stop. Never be like, this is good enough. Keep going. Keep learning what the successful people are doing, and then trying to implement that in a way that works for you, your school, your community, and everything. Keep pushing the boundaries. Keep growing. Something that I've learned over the past few years, not just this year, but something that's really being ingrained now that I'm a solo band director, is that excellence is an effect. Difficulty, while it was something I'm sure was used back in the day, I'm not saying go out there and play Mary Had a Little Lamb, but know what your kids can achieve by the end of the season. It might take you a little while to figure that out. If we're talking about marching band, if we're talking about concert band, whatever it is, try to set them up for success. We're not trying to go out there and spend 6 months on something that will only get right maybe once in a blue moon, right? So if something in your marching band show isn't working for you, water it down. Success. If kids are beating their heads against a wall on something that you isn't getting any better, there's no growth, it's too difficult. Excellence is an effect. If the flags go up and down together, it's an effect. If the low brass isn't playing anything that's that interesting, but they're playing it well with great tone quality and articulation, and that is where your band is at, fantastic. Excellence is its own effect. If you, in marching band, you march well, you play well, building a band program, that's what's most important, and people will recognize that. And in sit-down band, you just got to play well. Fundamentals, again, it comes up again because it doesn't go away. It's fundamentals, 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 fundamentals. You got to work on that stuff for this to work. And excellence is an effect. Nobody wants to hear anybody play anything poorly. So it's okay to push your kids at some points. But you got to be smart about when that is. Not concert assessment. I pushed some of my students on our winter concert, our Christmas concert. Something that was a little above their reach, along with some things that were about at their level, and maybe slightly below, just something kind of that they could grasp really fast and demonstrate their good fundamentals on, because they got it really quick that last little bit. But if you got a challenging piece, present it a little bit earlier and stay on that for a while and keep going. Excellence is an effect. So excellence. I've said it for a while because my mentor has said it, and I'm basically, I don't want to say a carbon copy, but I'm definitely, he's taught me well in the Jedi arts. Star Wars aside. Being a mediocre band director is really easy. Like, super easy. Like, you go, you teach, you come back, that's it. Being a phenomenal, great, awesome, fantastic band director, now that's really difficult. It's going to require a lot of extra work, a lot of extra time, a lot of figuring things out, trial and error, asking for help, all the things I've mentioned in this video and last year's video. And you've got to make that choice. Being anything worth doing is never easy. So again, being a mediocre band director, really easy. Being a great band director, now that's super difficult. And I hope you put in the work. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is just something else. 95% of children, after they graduate high school, don't play their instruments anymore. That's just facts. As a generalization, like a general rule of thumb. So when people ask you, well, why should my kid do band if they're going to pursue a nursing degree or whatever? We don't teach music per se. I mean, we do, but we're much more responsible for teaching life skills through music. I think that if we're just teaching music, which I don't think is possible, we're not just teaching notes and rhythms. We're teaching kids how to push through when life gets hard. We're teaching kids how to work in groups with other people they may or may not like. We're teaching kids how to read a foreign language. We're teaching kids how to work on their memorization skills, whether it be in marching band or specific measures that they have to look up at in concert band, or they're working on performance anxiety or anxiety in general when they have to get up and perform a solo in front of the class, and playing tests, and they're working on how they react to specific situations in the whole thing. But what comes to mind first is like chair auditions. How they best react. Do they throw a temper tantrum when they don't get the chair they want, or do they celebrate and rub it in other people's faces when they do get the chair they want? It's the whole thing is teaching life skills, and I think if we're not doing that and setting them up to be great human beings and members of society, then we're failing as band directors, because that is the number one thing for me. And I think if you get that right, a lot of the other things will fall into place. So don't settle, don't lower your standard, keep reaching, congratulate your students as they climb the rungs of the ladder, and keep trying. It's a lot of the things I've learned in the past year. And of course, I'm going to keep letting you guys know when I have time about other things I've learned. So hopefully you found this helpful. I've enjoyed regurgitating all that I've learned because it helps me be a better teacher as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Like this video, and if you really kind of enjoy the whole band directing vibe, subscribe. That would be awesome. I think we're nearing 1,700 subscribers right now, which is crazy. I never would have imagined that back when I was very little. So that's all I've got. And I wish you all, as you can tell, I mean, this video is released around the holidays, around Christmas, around New Year's. So I wish you a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, and until next time, we'll catch you guys later.